In typical box-to-box fashion, our Premier League predictions were a little crazy.
And Jurgen Klopp will get sacked this year, or leave. He will leave. Fifth, you actually think we're gonna miss Premier League after improving? What did you maybe the most in the Premier League? We went from the worst goalie of all time to one of the best last season in the entire world. Was a better shot stopper than Onana.
A lot of you guys have been asking for our reactions to our Premier League predictions, and we are ready to deliver. With the Premier League season over, let's get into it. This is our reactions to our Premier League predictions. Boys, are we ready?
So none of us have checked our predictions since we made them, but I'm interested to see who comes out on top.
And Millie, on that point, how are we gonna tell if someone had the best predictions and how someone had the worst predictions?
To see who is the most accurate with their predictions, we're gonna be tallying up the position. To see who is the most accurate.
Right. So my sound is accurate.
We're going to be tallying up the position difference between all the teams in the table. So if you had Manchester United first in your table and they finished 8th, the difference is 7. So whoever has the least amount of points at the end wins. Boys, Varvar's not looking too hot right now.
So it's basically like golf. You want the lowest score possible.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna have that.
For the first time ever.
We're going to be starting with the bottom 3, the relegation teams. They are Sheffield, Burnley, and Luton Town. Unfortunately, they will not be in the Premier League next season. This is where the boys had them.
Boys, that's shambolic. We have to talk about why none of us put Burnley in relegation.
Because, as you can see, the different football mentality starts forming. I had them 16th. I had them the closest to relegation out of all of us on this side of the table. Millie had them 17th, so props to Millie.
I had them going through, like, staying up, though.
Yeah.
So now you're using sides of the table.
So let's see.
Firms the hipster.
Oh, yeah.
13th?
Yeah, that's wild.
Actually, Vincent Kompany is going to Bayern Munich, so he's a good coach. It's just the team was not good.
Is this a barometer of hipsterness? Where
And is going to Bayern Munich the barometer for being a good manager?
We all saw how Burnley was in the championship. They were a great team to watch.
We know how
they were
Bayern
good.
is now. Spare coaches.
Oh my God, brother.
Spare coaches.
And listen, Burnley, with Vincent Kompany, they did have some sort of high expectations when they came into the Premier League, but this is abysmal, in my opinion.
I rarely give this fellow credit, but I don't know why you had Burnley so high. You were the first to tell all of us that this fairy tale Burnley story, they're going to get pumped once they play versus the teams.
And they
But
did.
I believe
But why did you do that and then pick this?
I thought that they would still be able to play nice football against the Evertons, the Wolves of the world. I didn't expect them to get pumped week in, week out.
So what do you think happened exactly? Like, was it a problem with the players?
Players just weren't good, bruv.
They weren't good. The quality wasn't there, but you could also say that about the bottom of the table, 20th place Sheffield. That's the League One level.
Yeah.
Those
my
were
opinion.
stinky.
No. League One level, you know how bad League One level is? It's like
They're not
Matko
far off.
Arnautovic level.
They're not.
Arnautovic.
Stoke City are
That's
not a
crazy,
different
man.
breed, brother. But Sheffield obviously not up to par for the Premier League. They were just abysmal, shambolic.
And
I
we
think
all
they were-
knew that.
They were battling with some injuries throughout the season, but I mean, something has to be said that the same teams are getting relegated and promoted every single season.
Is the gap getting wider from the best clubs, the richest clubs? And
I think it's the issue that the clubs that are staying up, they're staying up for longer. Their revenues are higher than those
I
teams
mean,
that
that's cap. This is like the first year that happens. I mean, last year you saw Nottingham Forest stayed up. Like Bournemouth recently also stayed up. Like
after how many transfers did Nottingham Forest have the last 2 seasons they were in the Premier League, you know? But that's
they don't laugh in broke. They're laughing at everyone in broke.
But I think it's an endless cycle that these teams are coming to the Prem, getting a bag. They don't quite make the cut, but then they go back down with teams that are stacked. And then they win again, and then it's this infinite cycle. But you would think there'd be more Nottingham Forest that end up being a mainstay in the Premier League. But I mean, teams like Sheffield United, they looked abysmal. Aside from when they played versus United, they looked abysmal.
no good play, no good players. It was just we had them in the correct position.
But Luton Town, on a different hand, we underrated.
I
Luton
wanted
Town.
them to stay up.
Me too.
I
Great
mean,
team.
No, it's a story.
We were saying heinous stuff before this season.
We had them, all 4 of us had them dead last.
They should sue us for slander on the
Defamation.
club. Defamation.
Accusations.
Maybe just Varvar. Keep it box to box. No, it's okay.
We weren't even the only ones saying these heinous acts, because you look elsewhere, nobody had these guys staying up. The brothers were getting ripped.
They had more media attention on their stadium and their lack of safety in their stadium than the actual club. But they exceeded all expectations. I think even if they're getting dropped down, they were getting results.
And they got a squad there. Alfie Dowdy, Tae Chung, Adebayo. Those are some good players. Morris.
Adebayo, that's an FPL. That's a fantasy Premier League legend right there.
Didn't you have 2 FPL from
I did. No, I must have had 3, but they just kept cycling because they would just score. One would get injured, another one would score.
Head and Menji, baller too.
Yeah,
Really, but whatever. We're done with relegation scraps. They're not relevant anymore. Next year they're off to the championship. They got banished.
With the relegation teams, here are the point differences. Unfortunately, I'm up top, boys, with the least amount of points at 5. Firms, you unfortunately have the most points at 10. Pala's at 8, Vara's at 7.
3rd place, that's where I want to be.
last place? That's where I want to be.
With the relegation teams out of the way, we'll be going through position 17 to 13. Here were the teams, and this is where the boys put them.
Right off the bat, I don't want to call myself a Nottingham Forest connoisseur, but I hit the nail right on the head.
On 17. What made you put them 17th?
I just knew the team. I just knew them in. I knew Anthony Elanga in and out, my friend.
Yeah, Manchester United legend that.
Listen, I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but I was pretty much spot on for 3 out of the 5 of them.
I know, but look at your kid, bro.
The Fulham I was off by 1. I had them 16.
You didn't overestimate your club.
You
didn't out pizza the Hut.
I didn't out pizza the Hut, unfortunately.
I got Fulham on the dot, and last year there was a lot of, at the beginning of the year there was a lot of question marks. Mitrovic had just left. I remember everyone doubted them. I don't doubt Silva as manager.
I don't know if this could be just me just capping right now, but I said 11th place with the idea that Mitrovic stays and Palinha.
You had some big players like staying on, and that influenced your decision.
I think we actually all said without Palinha and Mitrovic, these guys dropped to like 16th or something.
Yeah. They were risking relegation in our tables, pretty much.
The fact that we almost all had Wolves relegated, well, not almost all. Me and Firms had Wolves relegated.
What were we thinking there, Varvar?
I don't know. 14th, what a season. Next year, I'll still be keeping those Wolves getting relegated shouts because they overperformed so much by their XG and everything. I don't want to get too technical.
Bro, this guy's
too
an
tactical.
XG merchant. Every time we talk about a club, he says, well, actually, on XG, they should have been
They
7.
overperformed their XG by a lot.
But that's football.
You guys ripped me. You guys ripped me when I had them. I think 14th I put them. 14th, and I was on the dot there. And you guys were telling
Millie, name me 5 Wolves players.
Doesn't need.
Name me one Wolves
Doesn't
player.
need to happen.
That's
One
not my
Wolves
club.
player that isn't
Pedro Nieto.
Pedro Nieto.
Unfortunately, right now, that is not the case.
No Mario Lamina?
The case,
Juventus legend, come on.
Juve legend. But the case is, boys, a lot of you guys had them very low on the table, but they ended up being pretty much like low to mid-table.
And the fact that Everton did that good, despite being like
Docked
deducted
15
like,
points.
I don't even know.
Can we get a
might
point
be
check?
more than 15.
If they got, okay, let's say they got 15, we shouldn't actually know this as football people.
Connoisseurs.
Yeah, it's connoisseur, well, self-proclaimed. But Millie, where would they be if they had 15 more points?
Without an 8-point points deduction, a couple points here, a couple points there, they would actually be pretty much tied for 12th, barring in goal difference or whatnot.
So I'm there.
Crazy. Because the fact that I had them 17th means before the season.
You thought there was going to be a full collapse.
Yeah, because, brother, you just got Sean Dyche. The transfers were not looking too good. But looking back, why do I ever doubt Sean Dyche? Brother's low-key one of the era-defining managers of the Premier League.
He's
Definitely,
low-key like an English Allegri.
Outside of
What are you guys talking
outside of Pep and
Okay, be careful
Klopp.
with that.
No. Like, who's gonna be the manager that's the most remembered in this era of the Premier League?
Claudio Ranieri.
Yeah, not Sean Dyche.
Ranieri is a good shout.
Ranieri was not here for long. He was here for a good time, not a long time.
It's like
Drake.
Mancini.
Shout out Drake.
It's like Mancini. You just come in, win, and dip.
One club here that really took a lot of points off of us was Brentford. We had them performing closer to 10th, 11th place, and they fell down these rankings.
Hey, look, they played without a striker for half the
Because
year.
of 20.
20.
But
If you're a real
regardless,
Sopranos fan, you know, by the way.
but regardless, even with him back, he did nothing. Like, how much of a loss?
Look, I think
Was-
when we did these predictions, we
We were betting on Tony being
were not
there.
aware of Tony not beating the allegations.
He did not beat them.
He did not beat the allegations. Literally.
And also, Wisa got injured. which was
that's
not
true.
good.
We saw, and
That was a
Mbeumo
big-
And
got
then
injured.
Buemo for half the season.
Yeah, come on.
So,
Bro, you
these 3 players accounted for a 5 or 6 place deduction.
Bro, you had Mopé trying to carry the team.
Mopé.
I mean, it's a little unfortunate, but for the most part, we were pretty close on everything else.
Injuries aside, betting scandals aside, that team probably would have performed as we thought they did.
Injuries aside, betting scandals aside.
I know, but at the beginning of the season, you can't predict that a guy's gonna get a betting scandal against them. Like one of the top strikers in the Premier League,
Let's
not to
keep this in
mention.
mind for the Lucas Paqueta next
True,
season.
Situation.
Any ex-AC Milan player playing in the Premier
Do
League,
not buy them.
do not buy them.
Pilot, you got 12 points off that round. Barbar and Firms, 15 points off that round. I got 6.
God damn.
Damn.
How is Millie getting 6 points?
Who let Millie cook? Millie has the best Premier League knowledge out of all of us.
Yeah, I agree.
Cook, let him cook.
Get up.
Bro, if they knew Millie's extent on how he makes these predictions, you'd be astounded at how he performs so well in these predictions.
If the player has not played for Inter, he has not heard of him.
It's just aura, man.
No, Millie knows the players. He knows the Premier League players.
Millie's
You
watching.
can argue it, but he knows the Premier League teams. He knows the players. He watches them. But when he's down to predictions, it's just I feel like he goes with the gut.
It's more of a gut feeling. I'm not gonna lie, but you have to do a bit of background research here.
I think he uses like ChatGPT or some AI.
ChatGPT. What place is Fulham gonna be in this season?
Who plays on Fulham?
I mean, it's good with the transfers already, so...
I mean, it was pretty accurate. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
You've been hitting with those.
You hit Pulisic to
and
Milan.
Tejan Buchanan.
And Buchanan, yeah.
With 2 parts of the table done, unfortunately, Firms is leading the race here with the most amount of points.
When you're leading,
I'm leading the race with the most amount of points, but the goal is to get the least amount of points.
Exactly. But now we're going to be looking through positions 12 through 9. Here are the teams. This is where the boys had them.
Bournemouth, surprising season, I gotta say.
the Cherries absolutely surprising this season.
Surprise for you, maybe.
No, because I got them 11th, so I was kind of spot on.
Oh
there.
yeah, okay. Pala here. Get cooked.
Bro, what was I thinking?
Pala, we
19.
both did not cook here.
No, but what were we thinking?
Oh, even Millie 18.
I think we were looking at a team that just didn't have that aura.
You just staffed them in there somewhere and you said, I'll just figure it out.
No,
You-
but maybe you guys remember what was why was there like there was no Mitrovic hanging?
It's the coach.
I think you didn't rate the coach.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Is that like
Iraola.
Iraola, you were probably like, who's this guy, bro? I like Allegri ball. Give me that 6-man at the block in the back. Like, you weren't that Iraola guy.
Iraola.
You weren't watching those Vallecano back in the days.
Rayo Vallecano.
Oh, that's the team he played for.
Falcao legend, by the
Yep.
way.
Falcao legend?
You
Yeah,
made him into a
Falcao.
legend.
Falcao club legend.
Okay,
Rayo
sorry.
Vallecano.
Facts.
I mean, whatever floats your. But listen, this is where I lost a lot of my points. I had Bournemouth 18th. I had Brighton 8th. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Like,
But
Well,
8th.
Brighton
What's the
8th is
whore?
not
They
bad.
finished 11.
I had Brighton 9th.
I had Brighton 8.
Yeah, I had 9 as well.
Oh,
So-
this was a situation where we
All over.
Yeah.
Even the hipsters. We're not even the hipsters.
We got
I mean,
out hipstered.
Yeah, we got sucked into the hipsterism
Well,
in that
because-
recording session.
because we thought De Zerbi was the key here. We thought that Brighton were still going to perform even with De Zerbi, but clearly that wasn't necessarily the case here.
Mind you, there was some injuries and some departures, serious departures.
Yes.
Mitoma was injured, if I'm not wrong, like
For a
like
while.
3/4 or half the season.
Yeah. The derby
And-
was playing with a bunch of randos at one point. He didn't even know who was
We didn't
picking.
take into account Caicedo leaving the club.
Did that happen? That might have happened after.
Yeah, but still, I think we knew he was somewhat going to leave at that time.
But we knew that team was going to get gutted,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we still put them like
But
somewhat
that's the
high.
thing with Brighton is that they're nothing, and then they bring up players and they develop players, and with a coach like De Zerbi, they make something out of nothing. But I think it was a little bit ambitious to think they were going to be that high.
The fact that they even got 11th after selling a lot of their squad and injuries is kind of impressive.
A success of a season.
And also, let's not forget they were in Conference League, and that takes away a lot of games.
Conference
So,
League.
Who did they lose? They lost to a
Not a good. I don't know.
a bad team,
Yeah.
if I remember.
They didn't have a good season
Juve?
in conference.
Juve. Bro, playing in European comps isn't for everyone. Definitely not for
Manchester
you.
United after we win this FA Cup. This is going out after the FA Cup, but we already won it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Quick score prediction again.
2-1.
The confident 2-1.
The thing with Brighton is that we put them a bit lower because of those departures, and now De Zerbi is leaving also. So next season, it's going to be a little crazy. to see where
Depends
we're
who
gonna
they
put-
replace him with, bro.
Bro,
Graham
go get
Potter.
Iraola, bro.
McKenna.
Hey, that's a step up.
McKenna's a good manager.
McKenna.
Not proven, but I like the step to
McKenna.
Brighton.
It's either Chelsea, AC Milan, or Brighton.
McKenna, Milan.
Yeah, let's talk about rumors.
Milano.
What are you talking about?
Whoa, whoa.
Brighton are gonna go and get Graham Potter and call it a day.
Oh, Fonseca, can you help us achieve 6th place, please?
Oh, Allegri, am I gonna pay you now or after?
And,
Boys, we gotta stick to Premier League.
and we still have Crystal Palace to speak about and West Ham. But Crystal Palace, I want to speak about. This team next year is going to be one on the predictions table. I think is going to move up.
It
I think
depends.
No, I think
Can they
next-
keep their players, Barber?
I think they will. I
Well,
think.
there's already rumors. No, Chelsea want Elise.
Yeah, but they're
want everyone.
moving smart. Okay, Elise's gone. That's the one I'll tell you is gone right now. But they're keeping the manager. They're keeping a lot of the players outside of Elise. And they even were able to keep their sporting director away from taking the Newcastle job, which is like a
Crazy.
major, like, okay, we're here to like do something next
Well, it's a
season.
team that really, I think they really depend on having a good sporting director because they're bringing in young players. That team's built upon I
Youth
could be wrong.
academy.
They're
Adam
built upon
Wharton.
youth.
Also, Adam Wharton got called up to the English national team. 18 years old. That guy's a baller.
Yeah.
Big ups to the lads.
And also that trio, Mateta, Elise, Eze at the end of the season with Glasner coming in.
Not too
That
sure.
was drippy.
Eze's been
Elise
cooking.
is joining Man United, so he's not gonna be there anymore.
See that I see. I don't see him going to Chelsea unless they sell like Madueke and half the other young
I mean,
wingers.
maybe the new Chelsea manager, maybe they sacked Poch because he only wanted to play with one right winger. Maybe the new manager they're trying to get is trying to play with like 7 left-footed right wingers.
That'd be a good move.
Interesting to see.
Tacticos.
Bro, you don't even know.
Firms would try it out.
Yeah.
They do. Hear me out. Hear me out.
All left
In
wingers.
FM.
All left footers.
I mean, Firms is trying out a lot of things because he put West Ham 17th, I think, over here.
17.
Listen.
Brother put them 17th.
Braza.
Listen, I was hoping that the Paqueta allegation would
What,
come.
hit?
That
You're
wasn't that
early.
hadn't surfaced back then. You were thinking about the Declan Rice leaving. That's the
Yeah.
only thing on your mind.
I can't believe you
17th?
think one player makes that much of it.
He is.
Well,
that
I
good.
guess he's not that generational then,
the,
is he?
The Hammers at 17.
Well, no, it's just they spent the Declan Rice money smart. I mean, look at where they spent it. James Ward-Prowse. They bought Mavropanos at the back. They bought Kudus. Like that's a good use of that money.
They
Kudos.
overperformed.
Yeah.
They overperformed all our predictions
Expectations.
pretty much by a couple positions. But mind you, like you said, kudos, like all those players, they performed very, very well this season.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that they're still pulling up with Antonio up front, and yet they're stealing points from the big teams.
Antonio underrated.
Underrated.
Underrated
striker.
Premier League career.
Yeah, all over the place. But West Ham is a situation where if they weren't in Europe, you have to think, can these guys have moved up above Man U? Could they move up into the top
That's-
7?
No.
That's crazy to
I don't know
say.
about that.
Well, they were pushing in Europe. That tires out the team. For a team that doesn't have much depth.
Mhm.
I mean, you guys were out after
Probably have more depth than us.
you were out. Oh, yeah, that's true. But
Got
you
more
were out
players
after
than
the
you
group
guys.
stage. So you didn't have Finnis, clearly.
You got time.
Yeah, I have too many negative things to say about Man U. Millie, we're gonna move on.
So for this round, unfortunately, Pala, you got the most points. Varvar, you ended with the least amount of points.
As per,
Yeah.
I run this stuff.
But wait, aren't you still like third place? or
Brother.
last?
I mean, I don't know.
Where are you running to?
Still better than Juve in Serie A. Well, that's all I know.
He says, screw me for. I said, what?
You has been mentioned more times than actual Premier League teams. in this
That's your
video.
club, bro.
Imagine my show.
Now we're going to be heading to some European spots. Unfortunately, Manchester United is here and they're at the bottom. It is 8th place to 5th place. Here are the teams. Here is where the boys put them.
This is an absolute disaster.
So, Vavar, are you gonna keep that energy you had about 3.5 seconds ago?
Now, take the prediction of this season, okay?
This
I had
season?
them first, yes.
Okay.
I can agree. That was a disaster. But just move it to next year.
And where are we moving it
And
to?
we're gonna be wrong for a
No,
second.
look.
We're back. here.
Pep leaves the Prem in 2025.
Okay.
So next year we move up to like third. We get another third
Third.
season, okay? Third or fourth.
It's a big upgrade from
After
8th.
that, Pep gone first.
But this guy's like the guy on TikTok. How Manchester United can win the Premier League this weekend?
Everyone just has to disqualify.
yeah.
that was a good video.
I was like, at the beginning, I'm like, this guy's a clown. And then I'm like,
Wait, he's actually spinning.
He's thinking about something.
Varvar, you were the one that put them the highest, so you got the most amount of points after that. 7
That is
points.
not who I think it is shitting on me for putting Manchester United in
But he was
first.
just
I put them
hog rada to you that
I
time.
put them second because I had high hopes for that team. So I lost 6 points. I got 6 points out.
This was based on your gut feeling, right?
This was a gut feeling.
The same
He was
gut feeling
feeling
of
his gut.
The same gut feeling. Somehow I was more accurate with the bottom of the league.
it just didn't
And I
work
was-
for the top.
I was at the top.
I was all in Millie's guts.
It's like the blender video.
Oh yeah, I saw.
But Newcastle.
I'm back to Manchester United.
You're in slide. This is our time now.
So how about them seahorses?
Not gonna lie, I'm getting.
I was called
about them Giants?
crazy. I was called crazy for putting Manchester United 5th, and I was still wrong.
Hey, you exceeded. Like you put them higher
I
than they
still
actually ended.
overestimated them.
So this is United absolutely like shitting the bed.
Injuries, man. Injuries. What more can I
That's
say?
a slogan. Put it on the Manchester United crest.
That's gonna be the new away stand. Injuries.
Chelsea though,
Chelsea surprised the season.
we weren't that bad.
I mean, I had them fourth.
You were bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty bad.
I was bad.
What made you put them fourth?
Look, my middle to lower table was actually not bad. The upper table,
But what does that mean? Because the
looking a
lower
lot
table, it's like you're just shooting darts at a board.
no, they're you. For me, a Premier League enjoyer.
Manchester United first.
Tactical.
A real enjoyer of the sport. Juego de posesión enjoyer.
But Varvar, if there were no injuries, United was completely healthy. They had a couple injuries here and there due to regular wear and tear.
I would say we finished fifth. That's what I would have said.
So really, a lack of actual center backs is what three positions.
It's just even when we were healthy, we were shit.
That's
You were
true.
Dookie.
And who's there to blame? Ten Hag.
Yeah, who do you blame, Varvar?
Smells like shit. No, it's the Drewski meme. Somebody who smells like shit.
Somebody smell like shit. Somebody smell like shit. Wait. Somebody smell like shit.
So, but Varvar, who do you blame for this then? Is this a Ten Hag problem or is this a team problem?
The club was rotten to the core. So, like, whoever you put as manager wouldn't have done well.
Bro, I can assure you, Anthony does not give a hoot about who's on the high board of Manchester United.
Yes,
That
but the
brother just
high board of
stinks.
Manchester United signed Anthony.
He's hitting the Anthony though.
Rolls up his sleeves to get on. I'm about to change the
Bro.
narrative.
That's actually the highlight of the Premier League.
I've actually never seen Millie like that.
There's Anthony getting ready to sub on 85th minute.
I've never seen that form of milk. The evolution.
Anthony just got me moving. Dippy there.
How does one achieve that build?
The Anthony build. But another team that we really like destroyed was Chelsea. Like they had expectations. Like some people had expectations of them making the Champions League spots, but they ended up being 6th. We had them 7th. Varvar had them in the Champions League spots.
I don't know what I was.
What was the general consensus preseason? Because I think ours was not. I think 7th.
I think it was. I think it was the general consensus.
Yeah, but they had just spent over 500 million.
I
That
think
means nothing when
Yeah,
Todd
but it was
Bailey's
after
your
that
owner.
season, like after that first season of overspending, and they still underperformed.
Yeah.
I think the stocks were very low for like, especially for us. We were like, that there's not enough proof for them to move up.
I remember it being odd for us to have put them so low.
No, I remember we knew that it would be an uncertain time, and so we took our
It's
precautions.
because you spoke to Chelsea fans before the season. A lot of our friends outside the channel are Chelsea fans. So if you're wondering why my hatred stems for Chelsea, that's where it stems from. That's what you
Shout
were.
out Bob.
You were talking about Chelsea being top 4 because our Chelsea friends are saying we're gonna make top 4.
Yeah, but I put them 7th. So obviously I didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
And finally, the last team where we actually had them way lower in the table, honestly, Tottenham finishing 5th. Pala, you had them 9th. Varvar 7th. Firms 8th. I had them 6th.
I remember vividly saying Ange Postecoglou was not going to work in the Premier League. Whether I said that in that video or in a TikTok, I said it and I was wrong.
I would not say you're wrong yet. Jury's still out. I told you guys this a couple weeks ago. It's gonna start getting toxic. And what has it been recently? I would actually say Spurs has been low-key a bit toxic.
Bro, it can be
but
toxic.
bro,
how can it
There's
be
no
toxic?
players to make it toxic.
The guy's going against the club. He's saying this is full of losers and
If I
Did
don't,
you hear that press conference?
That's
I must have not heard that one.
I must have missed that press conference.
went
he
through one
called
year,
everyone
out
who
the other.
followed Spurs and that Spurs a loser.
No, he only said that because
God.
Arsenal, because Spurs fans wanted to lose that game so Arsenal would lose the league.
Yeah.
Got toxic.
I mean, to us, it appears that he overexceeded.
I think he did good. I think nobody expected him to even finish
But
fifth.
his team was shit.
It was stinky.
Without Madison, that reeks of a 9th, 10th place.
No, they
Bro,
have a couple
Madison
of
was
players.
mid for half of the season.
Bro, he's
when
the
will you
reason
get
why-
this in your brain?
Were they not
Madison
like
was
top?
mid.
Were
Brother.
they not top 3 for like the first quarter of the season?
And
because
it
of
was because of Madison.
But
Yes.
I'm not getting out of this season and saying Madison was that good. I'm looking at players like Saar who
You're
were
too
good,
reactionary.
Udogie who were good,
There's a
Romero
whole
was good,
season behind.
He wasn't
it.
as
Vicario
consistent.
was good. I named 4 players who were better than him.
With Newcastle, we actually had them a bit higher than where they actually ended up. I don't know. Like, I was hoping that they would have some sort of shot for Champions League spots because that's where the expectation, that's where the hype was at that time. But as the season went on, that hype died down.
If we're going to speak about injuries for Manchester United, you have to bring up injuries for Newcastle. They got decimated by injuries this season. But I see next season, once again, this is one of those teams I might have higher up than the general consensus.
So you're gonna have like 6 teams in your top 4.
I might. We're going to start a new one.
But, this one I kind of agree with Varvar. Like Isaac coming out, insane season.
Yep.
Gordon, comeback, very good season as well. I think they're a good
The
team. It's
building
just-
blocks are there for next
Yeah.
season, them to push on and do something good with that season.
But the issue is that the other teams ahead of them, like, they also have a summer to rebuild, reload.
Yeah, but the same thing that happened with Brentford and Newcastle, teams that suffered from, or even Man U suffered from injuries or just had a bad season because of random like extrinsic factors. That will happen to other teams. So spots will get formed for the Newcastles and the Spurs to have a good season.
But the thing about Newcastle is that they're not going to sell anyone. And forget sell anyone. Bringing in Sandro Tonali next season is going to be like a whole new signing at that point.
Well, if he comes back.
Yeah, but bringing back players like Botman, who got injured this season. There were players, I don't know, Livramento
Yeah,
was
Livramento
injured for a small portion of the season. He had an amazing season as well. You're going to get a full season out of him.
Even bringing up youngsters like Miley and the
Who
other
got
one.
injured also.
Yeah, I
got
know.
injured. So yeah, I think definitely we're going to be in for a good Newcastle season next season. This season was filled by injuries, but Eddie Howe, I still rate Eddie Howe.
As far as points goes, pretty even. Honestly, we all had the same amount of like difference, but it looks here, Varvar, you ended up with the most points here with 12. But besides that, Firm's at 10 points. Me and Pala got 11 points out of that. So it's pretty even so far.
So overall, Millie, we're about to talk about the top 4. Who's in the lead? Who's last?
As it stands, Pala and Firms, you are tied with the most amount of points. Varvar is at 42 and I'm at 34. So I need something catastrophic here if I want to.
Millie's going to bottle the lead.
Firms were the
Millie,
best.
Millie bottle the league like
Just
Arsenal,
like
please.
Arsenal bottled the league.
Fortunately, I'm more of an Inter man, so we don't bottle leagues, fellas.
Yeah, you just rigged them.
And then claim the titles.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be heading into the Champions League spots, the top 4 in the Premier League. Here are the teams, and here is where the boys put them.
Wow. Ashton Villa.
Not too bad.
Ashton Villa.
Ashton Villa.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously one of the
Firms?
surprise teams of the season,
We have
put
the
them
most
6th.
points, but we got the top. We got
Three
the top
right.
3 right.
which is pretty impressive.
And you weren't that far off with Aston Villa. You almost got a perfect score for the Champions League.
The
spots.
fact that you guys didn't put Man United there in the preseason is actually surprising that it actually ended
It's
up
almost
with-
like we're reasonable football fans.
It's like we know that Manchester United is just shit.
It's almost like we know.
But Varvar, you and I, we got absolutely decimated in that top 4. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out for us. It was really Aston Villa for me, and you as well, that really.
Varvar
Awesome.
just had a shambolic top 4 altogether.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
couple of-
Chelsea and United in your
Looking
top 4.
back, I had 2 mid-table clubs in my top 4.
Varvar, you had Aston Villa 8th, Liverpool 5th. Like, these teams ended up making Champions League spots, and this is kind
Yeah.
of brutal.
Millie
Yeah.
just grilling you.
Yeah, Millie's grilling me. What?
Yeah, and-
Millie
and-
had Aston Villa 9th and Liverpool 5th.
so you were riding him, but now you're. You're
I
shitting.
I
my
was all
points-
up in your guts, and now you're not there anymore.
Varvar, I'm gonna need you to calm it down. boss.
What made you-
calm it
Millie,
down.
what made you put Man United second?
I just thought
Because
that.
Varvar said it.
No, I just thought looking at it, Ten Hag coming in, their new signings, refreshed team.
Millie knows ball.
Millie, name 2 players from Manchester United.
Well, let me think. Beep, boop, bop, bop, beep, boop, bop, bop.
But it took a lot of. It pained me to put Manchester City above Arsenal, but
It had to be done.
it had to be done.
We all had City winning, which was correct, except Mr. Varvar here. unfortunately.
Deep down, you know, Arsenal are a little boy to Manchester City, because when it gets down to the nitty gritty, you did not have Arsenal winning.
To the business. You talking to me or him?
No, me. He was talking to me, but you talking to me.
You talking to me?
But like after you look at the stats, you look like the delusional fan. I look like I have expectations and they set out to be true.
But the season overall, successful for Arsenal or not?
We did speak about this, but
No.
mild season. Mild. I won't say it's a success. I won't say it's a failure.
Are you hoping
Arteta.
next season is like really where they truly compete for that?
I think I may have said it, but if they don't win a major trophy next season,
Is an issue.
They have to.
domestic, the worst I'll do is an FA Cup. That's the bare minimum.
Community Shield, take it or leave it.
And look out next season, Liverpool. You might be joining those Man United allegations, mid-table allegations.
We might hear
that
the Europa
Arne
League.
Slot.
Arne Slot.
Might hear the
La, 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 la.
We might hear the Europa League anthem at Anfield soon. I don't know.
If they're lucky.
Oh.
Oh.
So with all the points tallied up, a strong showing from Pala and Firms in that final stretch. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Varvar, Pala, and Firms are all tied at 50 points. And your winner for the most accurate prediction is me.
This guy just did a
Guy with the
monologue.
most prem knowledge won.
Guys,
You deserve it,
We'll see
Millie.
you guys next year.
Millie, lift your. We won the
predictions.
Box predictions 2023-24 trophy.
Oh, be careful
That's
with those
still
two
a bigger
hands.
trophy than the Coppa Italia.
Millie, be careful with those hands, Firm said. No.
Yeah.
Oh. Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
Clip that.
Anyways, if you made it this far, we want to thank you all for your support. Road to 100K. We're getting closer and closer by the day. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Even check out the new podcast.
Definitely check out the podcast. Going to be a ton of podcasts coming out during the Euros, so make sure you keep out for that. And we'll see you guys next week. Actually, this was a midweek upload.
So
By the way,
Sunday.
see you Sunday.